I'm afraid of police more than one so-called Boko Haram.
Blood all over his face, back of his head broken, and his brain tissue sticking out. What have I done to deserve this?
We demand an end to impunity against journalists and to the killing of journalists.
Turning and turning the widening girl, the falcon can no longer hear the falconer, called from Chinua Achebe's novel, Things Fall Apart. This perhaps describes the situation journalists in Nigeria now find themselves. With the recent killing of journalists in the line of duty, it appears there is no guarantee an average reporter like me would return to my family each day I set out for my daily routine. This is the story of Alex Ogbu, a reporter and political editor with Regent Africa Times magazine, who died on the 21st of January 2020 whilst on his daily routine. We journeyed 40 kilometers from the city center of Abuja to the Buhari area of the FCT. Root TV arrived at the house of Alex Ogbu an hour later.
This is Kuduru in Buhari Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The late journalist Alex Ogbu resided here until he died in the line of duty.
Root TV crew was greeted with the footwear of sympathizers at the doorstep of the late Ogbu. An uneasy calm in the residence. Inside the house, we met the widow of the killed journalist with sympathizers, family members, and a toddler who barely has a clue that her father was no more. A grieving wife left with no choice but to mourn her late husband. Encrusted on the wall is a mugshot of an article written by the late journalist, his wedding picture, and another photograph of the once happy family of 3.
Usually by 4:35, my husband is back from work. I had made his food. We love eating together. So I decided to eat chin-chin while I wait for him to come back so that we'll eat together. My phone rang, it was his number.
This phone call is different from all others. The call that evening sent shivers down the spine of Mrs. Francesca Ogbu and gave her an uneasy vibe. She sensed there was a problem when she was asked to be at Utako Police Division. It was then she realized the unimaginable had happened. Her husband, Alex Ogbu, has been killed.
I had a meeting with the police DCO of the Utako Division. The IPO too was there. Said they had carried out investigation. It was, first of all, they said they have now found out and discovered that my husband is not in any way connected or a member of IMN. Then we went to the hospital to give the coroner's form to the. When we got there, he saw the IPO saw the head mortician. He ran. He was giving him the folder. The head mortician now said, "Okay, that accident victim." I turned. I looked. I said, "Accident victim." My husband is not an accident victim. Yes, sir. So he thought I was jumping into a conversation and told me, "Madam, wait. Shebi una say na accident victim when I carry come yesterday night." I said, "Oga, you don't mislead me. Report what I write now say accident victim. When I carry this folder, go upstairs." I asked them to see his corpse. They refused. They were telling me he was at emergency, they were working on him. It's an emergency and you are the mortuary. It doesn't add up. Please, I'm not that stupid. They said instead of me to be shouting and be crying, I should be praying. There was no police, nobody, just my sister and the husband and the mortuary people.
According to the late Ogbu's wife, she waited at the hospital till about 10:30, 11 p.m. Then
there was a mortician there He just signaled me, did me a sign that I should come inside. I ran inside the mortuary, not knowing which direction, just looking for what was mine. And there was my husband. Lying still. Blood all over his face. Back of his head broken. And his brain tissue sticking out. I laid down, I held him. I carried him. I told him. I laid down on his chest. And I told him, good night.
As described by his colleagues and his wife, the victim was an activist cum journalist. 50-year-old Alex Ogbu was covering the Shi'ite protest at Use in Abuja when he became a victim of circumstance in the cause of duty. 2 other persons were said to have sustained gunshot wounds during the protest, demanding the release of embattled leader of the Islamic movement in Nigeria, Sheikh Ibrahim El-Zakzaky. In a statement issued through the Public Relations Officer, FCT Police Command, DSP Anjuguri Manza, on the 21st of January 2020, titled "Please Restore Calmness at Around Bega Roundabout After Violent Protests by Proscribed IMN Members," it said in quotes, "The FCT Police Command has successfully restored calmness around Bega Roundabout after a violent protest by members of the proscribed El-Zakzaky Islamic movement in Nigeria, who went berserk on Tuesday 21st January 2020 and were attacking innocent citizens and police operatives with dangerous weapons. As a result of the unfortunate incident, one person who sustained an injury and was rushed to the hospital for medical attention has been certified dead by medical doctors on duty. Meanwhile, the Commissioner of Police FCT CP Balachi Roma has ordered a full-scale investigation into the unfortunate incident. Police lied. They killed him. The Divisional Crime Officer said the order on proscribed IMN group is shoot aside. Let these killings stop. You are missing the aim. Human beings should not be used for target practice. Arrest and investigation should be made before you execute, in quote, a suspect. Innocent people have a right to move and a right to speech. Citizens living in the fear of the unknown. IMN you refer to as terrorist group wants me to get justice. Killers of Alex must be brought to book.
I am somebody that if I walk to anywhere, if I see police, I have to have that confidence. But in this present situation in this country, I'm afraid of police more than one so-called Boko Haram. And I'm afraid of police more than bandit. Because there are so many evidence, not allegation, is what is happening in this country. Are you talking people that kill in highway? Or you make sure about innocent people?
I need a justice. I need the whole world to help me, to tell the government, to tell me the truth. It's a police fault. Police, they are the people that killed my brother, Alex Ogbu, journalist. He's on his way home from work. Before there is riot or no riot, police now shooting. And they are denying.
Human rights lawyer and senior advocate of Nigeria, who doubles as the counsel of IMN, Femi Falana, upon hearing the incident, wrote to the FCT Commissioner of Police seeking an inquest into the killing of Alex. The letter reads, "Since they said Mr. Alex Ogbu died in such a circumstance as to make an holding of an inquest necessary or desirable, and particularly since the extrajudicial killing was carried out at Bega area of Abuja within your jurisdiction and sphere of authority, we request that you employ your good office to cause an official notification to be issued to the coroner concerning holding an inquest to the cause and nature of death of Alex Ogbu." Falana said the request was in tandem with the provisions of the Coroner's Law LL of Northern Nigeria 1963 CAP 27 as applicable to the Federal Capital Territory Abuja.
It's quite unfortunate we are where we are today. where some persons in governments who believe they have the paraphernalia of state apparatus, who believe they are in charge of governance in the country, to now use that same instrumentality which they have a duty to use to protect the people as a means of clamp down against those same persons they should be protecting.
The Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of operations, FCT Command, Usman Umar, was shot during the Shi'ite police face-off at the central area. The officer died at the hospital while being attended to. The picture that went viral on social media revealed the officer had 2 bullet holes to his head, one at the back and the other at the side, similar to that of Alex Ogbu. He was said to have sustained gunshot wounds which led to his death. The back of his head broken and his brain tissue sticking out. Pictorial evidence also attests to this. One would wonder why the 2 victims were shot on the head, and obviously at close range. Chairman Nigerian Union of Journalists (FCT) chapter, while reacting to Alex Ogbu's death, noted that the safety of journalists requires a stringent, urgent intervention of government both at the federal and state level.
All other tiers of government have not really taken this into cognizance. We will continue to demand safety and protection of journalists. And we have said we were going to hold every principal actor that is responsible for the intimidation, for the harassment, and for the death of journalists responsible. We are going to engage diplomatic channels to ensure that those persons and their families are barred from traveling out of this country.
The World Press Freedom Index, released by Reporters Without Borders, puts Nigeria amongst the worst places to practice journalism in the world. Nigeria holds 120 out of 180 on the Press Freedom Index, securing the 35th position, while Norway is ranked as the best country in terms of press freedom and Turkmenistan as the worst. According to Reporters Without Borders, it is difficult to cover stories involving politics, terrorism, and financial embezzlement by the public office holders. Journalists are often threatened, subjected to physical violence, or denied access to information by government officials, police, and sometimes the public itself.
In the international world, we see journalists go along with security men to cover protests. They even give journalists, they went as far as giving journalists a bulletproof jacket so that they will be safe. That is the #1 priority. But in Nigeria, instead of saving the journalists, they rather even looking at a way of killing the journalists. Why? Because they don't want him to say some things.
Born on the 23rd of September 1969, an activist turned journalist who worked with African Herald Express, he got married to his lovely wife in 2015. The marriage produced a beautiful baby girl who is barely 2 years old.
The late Alex happened to be one of our foundation members. In fact, his loss is like beyond a colleague that we work together. Alex Ogbu is more of a friend and a family brother to me, because we have come a long way. One journalist that believes in unity of Nigeria. You know, he's from Benue State. All of us knew what happened between the farmer, the headers, and his people. And each time we discuss this thing, the editorial and all that, Alex is just one person that will not take side. That's why the fact that his people suffered more. So, but he always wants us to balance the story and all that.
Neighbors and associates express their displeasure.
If at all we are practicing democracy in this country, then the common man in Nigeria must have the right to live.
I want the Nigeria police force to come out and accept that they actually killed late Mr. Alex. I don't know why it has been a usual occurrence in this country, whereby police go about using live cartridge towards their citizens.
The police report claimed Alex sustained injury, but autopsy report released on the 3rd of February 2020, 13 days after, showed that Alex was shot on the head.
This spot I am standing at Berger in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, was where late journalist Alex Ogbu was allegedly shot. The family of the deceased maintained that Judging from the bullet holes on his head, he was shot and eventually died before he was rushed to the hospital. The question now is, who will Nigerians believe? Is it the family of the deceased or the police force? Oluwatobi Enitan, reporting for Roots TV, Nigeria.
Nobody. There was no police. Instead, when my in-law got dead, they asked him to pay money. Oga, pay money. Go and bab the body. 25,000 naira. The police were asking for money. I don't know where police told morticians asking for money for embalmment.